It's now time to take a look at how client will help you in relation with time off entries, timesheets, and timesheet approval. Let's quickly go back in the system. As you can see here, I'm still on my client project list view. What I need to do is go back on the app launcher, and we'll start by looking at time offs. So by writing time, I see all of these items coming up. I want to go on time offs. So this interface is really a standard list view of time off object. Right now I'm logged in as Roxanne Green, so I see all my time offs right here. So I already submitted 2 time offs in the past. One was for vacation. The other one was for sickness, was only 4 hours, vacation for 5 days. So total 40 hours. This is how it looks like. Now I'm going to show you how to create a time off, which is very, very simple. You go at the top here, you click on new. Obviously the resource is Roxanne Green. The type, so just to mention that you will have the opportunity to select and to create what kind of types your organization is recognizing, type of time offs, right? In this case, I'm going to create another one, maybe vacation, because I want to take a Friday off on this on September 5th, 9th, sorry. So I'm going to enter both the start date and end date. Just be aware that if you're not entering any hours, it's going to take your full day, which would be in this case 8 hours. But what I want to do is I want to ask to take 4 hours off. So that's how I would do it. And then I would save this record. As you can see, the approval status is editable, but in this version, I'm on administration profile, so I have access, read-write access to this field. Normally for users, this would appear as read-only, sorry. So once this is done, you need to submit it for approval, and your dedicated approver, based on how you will design your approval process, will receive a notification. Let's go back on the list view. I'm going to refresh this list view and show you here. I've got my new time off that was created with the date, start date, end date. 4 hours were requested, and obviously it's not submitted yet because we did not press on it. But here are different time offs at the top. I just want to bring your attention to these two, because actually these 3, they're all in the same week, and we'll go in the timesheet to look at how we can see the time offs in the timesheet and which one we will see. So right now I would need to go on my timesheet, and I will move forward to the next week here. Now there's a lot of things that is already filled out in this timesheet, but I just want to focus right now on the time offs. For the time being, look, the PTO line, there's one line of vacation, and that includes the 16 hours that were approved, and that's where I want to bring your attention to. So if I look at the time offs, out of these time offs, on that given week, only 2 days were approved. So it means that you will need approval process in order to see these time offs as a line in your timesheet. That being said, let's look at the overall timesheet. At the top, you've got a lot of information that sums up what's going on in this timesheet. Total hours, your work week hours that is brought from your work schedule, your resource work schedule, the total utilization with some billable and non-billable information that you'll see here, and the amount of hours. Global overview. After that, what we see, we have some time entries that has already been done. So on 2 different projects and 2 different tasks, you've got hours that were entered on the 8th and on the 9th with some comments here. Test note, and this one, supported new employee. So what I want to bring your attention to is these 2 different projects, and we'll create some new time entries. So when you click on the drop-down list here, you should see only projects that are on which you are assigned, that you can log time on. And this is the list of project on which this project resource has project assignments. So these projects are already started, and they are not archived, and the project resource can log time. So I'll choose again the Acme 4. Once this is done, you'll see the list of tasks you can log time against, right? So obviously the milestones are not something you want to log time against, and that's why we keep them in a separate folder, and we add that star icon automatically in front of milestone to avoid any kind of errors. But I could go on the develop stories here and log some hours. Let's do 2 hours. Notes. I'll write notes to customer just to make you think of the fact that you could train your users so that the notes they are entering are customer facing, because this is one feature we can do on a time and expense project. For example, when you're invoicing your customers, you want to see all of the lines of your time entries, and you might want to expose the comments so that the customer knows not only what you worked on, how many hours you logged, but also what are the details that you've done during that 2 hours. So that's a very interesting feature. I'm going to save this just to show you how we recommend using it. So the line has been saved, and you get automatically a new line coming in. If you can also add a line by clicking new without saving. The other one I want to show you in the project list is this project that we saw a bit at the top, which is called New Employee Onboarding Project 4 months. What is different with this project is that Roxanne Green does not have any project assignment. And I just want to bring your attention to this because the 4 month, here's the project. So I looked at the top just to search if I was able to access this project. Here's the project. What I want to bring your attention to is that it's an onboarding project. So it's an internal project on which I want people to log time in. And for that matter, we put this project as global project. So this little checkbox here will make that project available for anyone in your organization to log time against. So that's why the new employee onboarding project 4 months is available. Same thing, I could select a task and log time. The last line here represents all holiday dates that would be included in the holiday schedule your project resource is related to. So in this case, a project resource related to a holiday schedule that has the 2022 Labor Day that would happen on September 5th. So you've got those 8 hours that counts as worked hours on the total of hours for this timesheet, which is 33. Now what you can do with the timesheet at the end is obviously submit this timesheet for your approver to approve this time. Once again, you can select to have only approved time to show up on upcoming invoices. So that's very important to know. You can submit without saving, but what we strongly recommend to do is to save on a daily basis, and at the end of your week, ask your resources to submit so that you have one timesheet to review and one approval notification per timesheet. So this timesheet has been submitted. If I refresh this, you will see that, I go back on the timesheet itself. You will see that it's been submitted and it's locked. I cannot edit it right now. It's submitted. I could add more time, meaning that people that already submitted a timesheet and needing to add more time could do it, but this time would also need to be approved in order to be captured by the generation of your invoices. But that's going to be in another video. Sorry. So this is really the timesheet. What I want to bring your attention to, let's go back in time a bit and play with another timesheet. So there are two features at the bottom of the timesheet, which is called copy from previous week and copy from schedule. So you see on the week of the 8th to 14th, I already worked here and I invested a bit of time on 2 different projects. So on the next week, what I could do is use that copy from previous week to bring any of the projects I was working on and the task and create new lines to get ready to log your time. So copy from previous week could be very, very interesting when you have resources that are working on for different projects or different in different tasks. Now I just moved without saving because I want to expose you some possibilities. You can also copy from schedule. So by clicking copy from schedule, it will automatically create lines on any project for which you are assigned. So I've got task assignments on these different tasks on the Roadrunner project. It created 3 lines automatically on which I'm ready to start working my week and start logging time. So these 2 could be very helpful for your users when it comes to entering time on their timesheet. Just a quick one for you to know. So let's go on the Acme 4 project that we looked a lot lately. And on any task of this project, I just want to let you know that one could decide to work differently and enter their time differently. Instead of going on the My Timesheet interface, there is a log time tab on any tasks. So by clicking the log time, you're already in context. You already know that it's related to the project, to the task. You can enter hours here or start the timer. So this is another feature that sometimes customers like to use straight on the task. Now it's time to look at the timesheet approval module. So here, I'm just going to, in the app launcher, search for approval, and timesheet approval will show up. So this is an interface that was created by client, allowing you to search for time to be approved. So you've got a date span you can select. So I'm gonna just change the time frame from September 3rd to September 17th because I want to narrow it down to the time entry I just created. I will not bother with selecting the resource or account or project owner. So each of these would allow you to filter down the time you're looking for or what you're working on to approve. Here, the approval status, if I'd leave it to my approval, I would search, and this is very useful when you have an approver going to this interface and looking only for stuff he is supposed to approve, right? In this case, I'll put it to submitted because I want to see stuff that has been submitted to be approved, and I will not care about the approver because I'm still Roxanne Green, and I'm just going to search. You can expand the number of lines to be seen. Right now it's stated to 5. Right now you have 3 different lines, so let's look at them. The first one holds 24 hours. If you want to see the detail, you can click on the clock here, and you'll notice that this will be the PDO and holidays. So that's the combination of all of the hours that were done here, so those 24 hours. So I'm probably fine with this to approve. And then you'll see there are 2 hours on the new employee onboarding project. So you could see, same thing, the line, timesheet detail, with the hours that were included. And if you click on here, supported new employee, that will be the comment that will be stored and appear on an eventual invoice to be created. The last line here will hold information about the Acme 4 project, same concept, 7 hours, and you've got the total cost. So I can select all if I want, or I can select everything in each line. So if ever there would be more time entries of the same project or the same nature in the same box. So you've got different options to select your timesheet, or you could only select one line if you want. So you could reject a line and approve the rest. So it's all possible to do so. So you define, once you've selected, if you reject the status, if you reject the timesheet, or if you approve them all. In this case, I'm going to move it to approved. And what it does is it's approving this timesheet. So the timesheet, the time entries have been approved, and they'd be ready to be invoiced if they were, for example, on a time and expense type of projects to be sent out. So this covers the three different modules related to time: how to create time off, how they will appear on your timesheet, how to create timesheet, and also how to approve these timesheets.